Hi, my name is Heather Leeson and I wanted to show you a couple more ideas for quick lunches or meals on the go. What I'm going to make today to start with is I'm just going to cook some quinoa, and we're going to use that as the base for one of our pots. I'm using quinoa because it's a great source of protein as well, and it actually keeps for a couple of days, unlike rice, which you need to use pretty quickly, and it's really easy to make. So to cook my quinoa, I'm going to get a cup or a mug, a small mug of quinoa, and put that in a saucepan. I usually rinse this as well, just it can otherwise have a little bit of a bitter taste. So I'm going to put that in a saucepan, and I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of water, just over 1.5 cups of water. I'm going to bring that to the boil, and then I'm going to simmer that for about 9 minutes, and all of the water will evaporate over that time. And if you leave it to rest then for a few minutes and fork it through, you should have lovely quinoa grains that look a little bit like couscous but are a little bit more nutritious. So once that boils, I'm going to pop the lid on and just leave it to cook while we do everything else. Now, if you do not want to cook quinoa, if you don't like it, you don't have it, you can use rice, you can use noodles. You don't have to have carbohydrate at the bottom in the jar at all. You can actually just have it with a piece of bread. Another thing that's pretty handy is this Uncle Ben's whole grain rice pouch, because of course you can just use that instead. And I'm going to make the salad in these 2 jars. I'm making, like I said, 2 different ones, and these will keep for a couple of days. So you could make these on a Sunday for Monday and Tuesday lunches, for example. This is just, I'm not sure what was in this jar originally. I'm going to use that. It's quite a nice big one. This is a Kilner jar. It's actually very small. I'm not sure that this would keep me full for very long, but it's a good size to demonstrate. And I'm going to start by making the dressings, and I'm making 2 varieties of salad today. One of them is with mackerel, and I'm going to make a lemon and olive oil dressing. So we always start the salad jars with the dressing on the bottom. You don't need to make the dressing separately. So for the mackerel salad, I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of lemon juice into the bottom of the jar. You can use a little bit of vinegar either. And I'm going to add in some extra virgin olive oil and mix that. And that's going to sit in the bottom of the jar. And when we're ready to eat it, we can just turn the jar upside down, and keeping an eye on my quinoa at the same time. I love a little bit of mustard, so I'm also going to add in a little bit of Dijon mustard. That can be really nice with this. Now, when you're making a salad jar, you want to put the hardest stuff on the bottom. So I'm going to just leave that and do some vegetables. Actually, what I'll do is I'll make the other salad dressing as well. I'm also making a salad jar with feta, pomegranate and mint for a vegetarian choice. So for this one, I'm just going to use a really simple extra virgin olive oil and balsamic vinegar dressing. So again, I want the dressing to go in to the bottom. That's probably about a tablespoon or 2 of extra virgin olive oil. And on top of that, I'm going to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar. This is a beautiful balsamic vinegar from Wildwood, which is an Irish food company, but any balsamic vinegar that you like is absolutely fine. So I'm just going to add that in, and that will just make the basis of a really tasty dressing. So we want our harder veg to go in first, and we can make these with pretty much the same vegetables. So what I've got here already chopped is a little bit of red cabbage. That's a lovely robust vegetable, so you can put that down in the bottom of the pot, because that is not going to go soft at all. That's just going to keep its firm texture. So that can go in first. Another veg that's great to keep its shape, put these here out of the way, is a red pepper. So I'm going to chop some red pepper, roughly chop that off, give us a few bits of pepper. So that can go into the jar. Whoops. Next. And on top of that, I'm going to add in some carrot. Rather than chopping it, it's actually better to peel it. So I'm going to peel the skin off first. This is lovely Irish carrot that I was able to find, whatever you like yourself. And this is totally flexible, this recipe. I put it into ribbons. It just makes it a little bit easier to eat in the jar. Okay, I'm also going to use some cucumber that I'm going to chop up. Now I'm going to put my protein in now. So for the mustard one, I'm using these mackerel fillets. Hard to get fresh fish at the moment, and actually something like tinned tuna or tinned mackerel is going to have lots more omega-3 than tinned salmon or tinned mackerel is going to have lots more omega-3 than tinned tuna. So I'm going to put some of this in to the top. We'll maybe use a whole tin, depends what you like yourself. And on top of that, I am going to add in a little bit of my rice, just to complete this. Like I said, this jar is a little bit small, but that one is now done. Now I'm keeping my quinoa for the feta salad. So this one is done. And when that's done, I'm going to allow it to cool. But in the meantime, I am going to just finish off the rest of my ingredients. So this is a pomegranate, half a pomegranate, and I'm going to de-seed it. This is a great de-stressor. Just have to be careful to catch some of the bits, the white bits. You want to avoid those going in if you can, and get all of the lovely pomegranate juice, and that just adds a gorgeous flavour and texture to the salad. Okay, so that's the pomegranate done. So on top of the pomegranate, we're going to put some lovely feta. This is just from the garden, Greek feta from the supermarkets. Okay, now just before I chop that, I'm going to have a look at my quinoa. That actually needs another minute. I'd only put it on for 7 minutes, so I'm going to put it on for another minute, and then I'm going to just leave that to cool down, and that will take about 10 or 15 minutes. I want it to be nice and cool before it goes in on top of the vegetables, and I'm going to, on top of those, add in a little bit of feta, pomegranate, and a tiny bit of mint because I had it. If you don't have it, absolutely does not matter. This is gorgeous fresh mint. It's really nice in a tea, nice in all sorts of different salads, and even in some pasta dishes too. Anything with peas, a little bit of fresh mint is lovely. And all of our herbs and spices are giving us lots of different nutrients, of course, as well as flavour. And on top of that, if I've got room in the jar, I'm also going to add in a little bit of greenery, a little bit more lettuce. So I'm going to come back to this in a minute. Now I'm just going to finish off this jarred salad, which is our one with feta and with pomegranate. So I'm going to put it in my quinoa now. You can see it's still a little bit warm. I should have made one earlier. I'm going to put a little bit of that in, just a couple of spoons, maybe a little bit more, 3 spoons. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of seasoning in on top of that as well. These jars, you can eat them from the jar. You can also invert it into a plate, a little bit of pepper going in there. Now, what I'm going to do is put in a little bit of my pomegranate. I'm going to keep some for my breakfast tomorrow morning. That just adds a lovely bit of sweetness, a little bit of feta. Now, just chopped it into squares. You can break it in with your fingers either. Now, I'm not going to have any room, very much room for lettuce in here, unfortunately, but I'm going to squish the feta in, and on top of that I'm going to add a little bit of mint. And this one, because there's so much squished into this jar, actually would be better if you could turn this into a plate. But as long as you keep these jars the right way up, then they're going to stay fine for a couple of days. So here we have our easy jarred salad, this version with feta, pomegranate and mint, and this version with lovely mackerel and whole grain rice. So I hope you enjoy them, and thank you very much for watching.